going on, YouTube? It's Sensei, the place to be. Children, Mr. A&D, back to give you guys another WWE 2K23 video. So the weekend happened, right? Okay, so I did the reactions on Friday. Make sure you guys had the reactions for this stuff like that. And I wanted to do the breakdown of all the news that we gotten from all the content creators that were able to go over to the 2K press thing and get all the footage. I wanted to break it all down for you guys. But I did two back-to-back 12-hour shifts. And I told you guys before on Friday my daughter was sick, so we were taking care of her. So I didn't be able to do any of that stuff for you guys this weekend. But I'm here now. It's Monday, a fresh week, and we're going to start and we're going to break some of this stuff that we got down. It's a lot of news to break down, a lot of things to compact and everything like that. So be patient. Hope you guys are ready for this. If you guys are new here, hit the subscribe button for more WWE2K23 news and when it comes to wrestling news and pop culture stuff right here on NC Studios. So we're going to get right up into some of the things that we know, because I was watching an interview with Phoenix Nitro, who is another YouTuber who was invited out there. So I will put all his information down in the description below. Make sure you guys check out his interview with Lionel Jinx, where he went over a lot of things that was brought to my attention. I was just like, oh, well, we got to talk about some of that kind of stuff that they talked about. So once again, Phoenix Nitro is the one that was in control of all that and did that. So I'll start off with some things I was into. So Phoenix asked Lionel Jinx about showcase mode, some of the changes, and Lionel Jinx was talking about that they really went off the mantra of the never give up thing that John Cena did, and they thought it would be a good change to switch it up to have now different players playing to try to beat John Cena, because you know we had that Super Cena mantra all this time, and then but now to have you to play as different players, so you're not playing as the same Cena, because honestly Cena's moveset has not really changed that much in his career, so you will be already doing the same stuff. And I can understand it gets a little repetitive when you're doing the same thing over and over again, to a certain extent, for my personal thing. But having them play as different superstars throughout Cena's career and trying to beat him, I think that right there is a good way to do it. And also they were saying that when it comes to how they want to present showcase mode, it was like, you know, they want to have the same kind of lighting and the tone for the times, kind of resembling how the Jordan Challenge is in NBA 2K23. If you guys have played NBA 2K20, the Jordan Challenge, I'm not talking about the one for 2K11, the 2K23 one. If you play Michael Jordan's college games, or you play those early Bulls games, like the whole lighting, the rules, everything has changed to take you back to that time. And now when you see the clips of RVD and John Cena, you can see that it will take you back to that time and different ways of, you know, make you feel like it's 2006 in that Hammerstein Ballroom in ECW. Like that is that is really cool right there. And once again, I'm a guy who loves story stuff like that. So when it comes to showcase, when it comes to like George Challenge stuff like that, keep bringing them to me, because I love it. It don't hurt nobody. If you don't like it, just don't play it. You know what I'm saying? But I enjoy these kind of things. Now, Lionel Jinx did say that there was a couple of hidden Easter eggs that he had in there, and he didn't say what they were, but I'm thinking, like, because you have to sit there and think, what if John Cena does win these matches? These are his biggest matches. What happens if he does win these matches? So I'm thinking that there's a little Easter egg. And remember how when if you go back to 2K22, when Eddie Guerrero, if he beat Rey Mysterio in the match versus title, he rips off Rey Mysterio's mask. Well, in Up Up Down Down, when they actually did the full chapter of the RVD John Cena showcase, you can see that John Cena wins the championship. He goes celebrating, and then the referee's kind of like telling him to, like, you know, back down a little bit. I was like, I like the kind of Easter egg, something like that. Now, would have been cool if, now obviously you're not gonna get him to actually riot in the game. That's not gonna happen. But I was thinking like the NWO trash type incident where they was doing all that trash at Hulk Hogan. I was thinking they would probably throw trash at John Cena as well. Now, the second thing that another thing he talked about that what really interests me is universe mode. I love universe mode. I've been playing universe mode since WWE 2K16, and I've been putting it up on my channel since WWE 2K17. Now, when it came to my universe mode in 2K22, I know some people wonder what's going on with it. We had a lot of problems with my gaming channel, and also there was so much glitches, problems in universe mode that it took me, I mean, actually took me out of it. But hearing what Lionel Jinx had to say in the Phoenix Nitro interview has me happy for universe mode this year. Because also they said that what happened with universe mode is that they took the engine from My Rise and to put it in for universe mode. So that means there'll be a lot more options, a lot more cutscenes, a lot more different things that you could probably do in universe mode, along with the things you've been doing before. Superstar mode is still looking to come back, along with the regular Classic Universe mode, and all that kind of stuff like that. But also, one thing he said was now there are options for how to start matches and things like if I want to go shake somebody's hand in a match and the person turns the handshake away, or they want to shake the hand, or if I want to attack somebody during the matchup, there are many more options that you can set before the matchup starts, to get the match started, instead of trying to wait randomly for a cutscene to happen. And you can kind of play your story out, and usually depending on how things go with AI, have an option too, how the momentum is going of how these different scenarios will play out, which he did confirm when you talk about as saying that he was playing as Axiom going up against Wesley, which we have now, Axiom and Wesley confirmed for the game, which you probably already knew in general. But I thought that, these kind of things are what can help really, boost the storyline things up, because as a content creator, trying to go find the cutscenes and then putting them in the cutscenes and making sure they got the right attire in the cutscenes and waiting for that stuff to load up and then edit stuff like that. Oh my God, it was a lot. Okay, so having them, to be able to almost kind of like a small story creator, I even had to set up these scenarios before matches, after matches, maybe in the backstage and stuff like that. Especially when they use the My Rise type of engine, I think that'll be something also that'll be really, really cool going forward. Now, they had a developer Zoom call where they took questions also to answer some things. A lot of questions that came up was My Faction. Now, I understand a lot of people don't like My Faction, especially in the wrestling community, and that is warranted. I understand that, because I play NBA 2K a lot, and the mode I play the most is my team. My team is the same thing as My Faction, so I love that mode. I understand they're trying to get that mode for wrestling, but I understand things kind of work a little bit different for wrestling. And one of the biggest questions that they asked on the Zoom call was, can we get the alternate attires that is put into the My Faction? Because if you guys play My Faction at all, when they released the packs, they had retro attires for characters and all, like retro Seth Rollins and DX Triple H and old school Xavier Woods. Like they had all these different kind of retro attire. Even for the Four Horsewomen, they had the old Four Horsewomen type things, and it was locked behind that paywall. And we was wondering, like, well, if they're in the game, why can't we play as them as well? In the wrestling game, I understand that. It's kind of like the same thing for 2K, but the problem with 2K is, when I say 2K, I mean NBA. The problem with that is the players that is in my team are in the game already, in a way. So, for example, you can get a New York Knicks Carmelo Anthony, but you can also get a Denver Nuggets Carmelo Anthony, but you can also get a Oklahoma City Carmelo Anthony, or a Portland Trailblazers Carmelo Anthony, or a Lakers Carmelo Anthony in different kind of cards. If you want to play as any of those Carmelos in regular exhibition mode, you can just go to the classic Knicks team, the classic Denver Nuggets team, the Lakers team, or things like that to play as these different Carmelo Anthonys. They don't have that for wrestling, and I can understand that could be a big effect. Lionel Jenks also stated that since the development team for that section of My Rise is very small, they don't have necessarily the resources to be able to do that. And because if we bring a superstar out, we got to bring in their attires, their entries, and their clothes, stuff like that, which can be something that they're unable to do. So when they're looking forward into the future, that's something that they're going to look forward into. And I think if My Faction gets big enough, like them bringing online to My Faction now, I think it's a step in the right direction, because it's not going to automatically be like a My Team thing, but you got to show people what online looks like, and buying the cards and being able to switch cards and selling them and things like that. I think that'd be good. So maybe 2K24, 2K25, if My Faction is still a thing, that they would find a way to bring that on board. Now, when it comes to gameplay, a lot of things that I've looked over the weekend that I've seen that have changed. Let's go with the new pin system. So the pin system that they have here is where you have to stop the line inside of the green bar. Now, this is different from the ones that button mashing, that people who can't button mash. It's a different. This is going to be the new default pin system. I don't have a problem with the button mash. I like button mashing also, but however, this one right here, looks a little bit easier. It kind of reminds me of that WWE 13 type or 2K14 type of pin out thing. And I think you have to flick up the left trigger to stop the needle in there, and the more beat down you get, the more the bar travels and the harder it'll be to get out. So I'm pretty sure this is going to affect the last man standing kind of matches, and of course the regular pinfall matches as well. So it's something that we're going to have to play out, but actually just seeing it didn't look too bad necessarily in action. We have weapon taunts now that we can do when it comes to using a weapon. Now, they showed that people, with kendo sticks, you can twirl them around. You can hit the ground with them, same thing with steel chairs. And there's been different weapon tosses that they have shown this weekend. Also, I'm like, okay, so it's cool. You can add some, animosity to a match or to a story or anything like that. Especially when you're doing a YouTube universe mode as content creator. Those things I thought was cool that they add to there. They have new kick out animations as well, where it's like even if you kick out like after a 1 count, now there's more of a more surprise reaction to it, which adds more drama and things to the matchup as well. So in different kind of kick out animations, I haven't seen them all obviously, but I did see a few of them to know that they did change that around a little bit as well. One thing that they brought back, I thought it was cool, like tired finishers and stamina. So I'm a component. I like when I see tired finishers. It makes things kind of cool. Things that I see some of the tired finishers, and then of course they have the little same stamina wheel that they had last year, and when it runs down, your opponent gets tired. But now as the match goes on, you can see how dazed and confused that the superstars are during the matchup as they're getting kind of groggy and things like that as well. There's even parts where you can be on the top rope or in the middle rope, and if somebody hits the ropes, you fall and you kind of like hurt yourself a little bit. I was like, those little small details are the big things that I really like. But overall, when it comes to gameplay, they didn't change much from 2K22. I enjoy the gameplay from 2K22. I like the faster pace. I like the arcadey type style. I play fighting games anyway, so I enjoy that kind of things and what they try to bring it into. So there's no vast difference of the gameplay in there. So if you like the 2K22 gameplay, then you'll be happy with this. If you didn't like it, then you're not gonna like this at all. So they also have things to talk about the payback music, different paybacks. And now this year you're allowed to have 2 paybacks opposed to just 1 payback like they was previous years. There's a little line on the health bar that I got this clip from Smacktalks that shows that where the bar is at, where you had to fill up your momentum to get yourself a payback. But as the match goes on, it will be down a little bit lower, and when you it'll be a lot quicker for you to fill up your payback. That's because the developers wanted, if you really get beat down in a match, a chance to be able to come back and have a different option to get yourself back into the matchup, which I thought could be kind of cool. Or could be like a get out of jail free card. Depends on how you kind of look at it. And finally, there was a interview that was conducted by WCCF Tech. Was a W2K23 Q&A on visual upgrades, the PC version being next gen, and the AEW competition. So I was like, okay, well, it's like a long interview, obviously, but it does break down a lot of things that I felt as though was cool to talk about. Now, real quick, I'm not going to talk about everything they talked about in the article, but I will put a link in the description if you guys want to read the whole article. So one thing I'm going to bring up, they talked about the graphics and how they've been changing the lighting and doing different kinds of experiments each year to try to figure out what is like the right kind of thing, because they keep experimenting with it. That's how when you have a yearly console, that's how they can do that. I'm not going to go dig too much into the PC because I don't play PC games. I'm not a PC player, so I don't even want to sit there and talk about something that I know I'm ignorant to, and I don't even want to talk about something that I'm like, what is he talking about? He's getting all this stuff wrong. So the interview is going to be in the description, so you guys, for the PC players out there, you guys can read all that stuff in detail of how you want it. I'm more so here because he talked about the roster a little bit, and they said that the roster size is going to be bigger than 2K22, and hopefully, and then with the way they're building up on it in 2K24, it'll be even bigger because of how much people Triple H be bringing back. Now, the roster size in 2K22 was 222 superstars. That, of course, included the alternate versions of different superstars and things like that as well. But still, 222 after all the DLC. They say it's going to be more. I'm going along the camp of saying maybe 250, 260, because that's the kind of number that we had in 2K20. And also, that's including all the different versions of superstars that we had, because we never got no new superstars in DLC. We just got different versions of these kind of weird superstars as the DLC. And yeah, but that in 2K19 it had a big roster, so I'm thinking especially it'll be a big roster. Now they did say when it comes to the DLC that there are going to be some notable omissions on the actual game roster, but to be patient, because you never know what the DLC can be bringing out, and they do plan on doing the 5 DLC packs. As soon as they said that, the first thing that came to my mind was Bray Wyatt. I was like, because they've been doing the whole White Rabbit thing. I'm pretty sure that they knew that he was going to be part of the game, because I remember when the Fiend they debuted in what was it, SummerSlam, and then the game came out next month or a month, and he was a pre-order bonus, so they could work fast. But Bray Wyatt only had one match at Royal Rumble, so I know we gotta see more of what he's gonna do, and then if he's gonna put Uncle Howdy and stuff in the game, what kind of DLC pack that's gonna be, or there's a Bray Wyatt DLC pack. Who knows? But that's the first person came to my mind, and a lot of these other people that Triple H has brought back, such as like Karrion Kross, Hit Row, and stuff like that. I think those are ones that can probably be fall into the DLC kind of range. But I am happy to hear about the roster being bigger than 2K22, because I want to see the more people to sign back. I want to see more legends. I want to see up to date, like some different kind of legends, stuff like that. So I'm just actually curious about it. But guys, that was just a taste of everything that we got this past weekend that I found interesting, that I want to talk about here on my channel. I know you got all my mains out there, Smacktalks and Macho T, and all of them that have been doing the videos. They're doing some extensive breakdowns, so make sure you guys go check them out as well. Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed my breakdown. Hit the subscribe button, because I'm just one little guy here who just love wrestling and stuff like that. So if you guys want support, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and come check me out when I do 2K news and gaming news and pop culture and wrestling stuff right here on NC Studios. So once again, it's NC, the place to be. Children, Mr. Andy, and the Nerd Coalition is out.